President Joe Biden, we know, arrived in New York last night after spending the weekend in Delaware. He is set to address the assembly tomorrow. We didn't hear anything from Biden throughout the weekend, but we did hear from former President Donald Trump granting NBC News an interview where he spoke about a wide range of topics, including Biden's age. With Kristen Welker, it's her first interview as taking over Meet the Press there for Chuck Todd. And he said there should not be an age limit, but a competency test. And that was Trump's quote there. Now, on the heels of a recent Quinnipiac poll asking the question, should there be age limits for presidential candidates? Look at the numbers here. 30% of those polled believe it should be 70 years of age. 19% polled said it should be 75, and 33% oppose age limits entirely. Now, Trump was also asked on the Sunday show about a potential vice presidential pick and says South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who recently endorsed him at a rally, is an option. Turning now to Hunter Biden. He was indicted, of course, last week on gun charges, but today the president's son is on the offensive. He's suing the Internal Revenue Service, alleging its agents illegally released his tax information, also alleging the agency failed to protect his private records. Hunter is seeking $1,000 for each unauthorized disclosure and attorney's fees. The lawsuit was filed today in federal court in Washington, D.C. Now, it does not name the two IRS agents who were whistleblowers as defendants, but it is centered on disclosures made by those agents during congressional testimony and interviews. Well, joining us now with some insight into this case and what we may expect from it, Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz, also the author of Get Trump, The Threat to Civil Liberties, Due Process, and Our Constitutional Rule of Law, good enough to be with us this Monday. All right, Professor Dershowitz, so does Hunter Biden have an actual case here, or is this potentially just a smokescreen by his very smart attorneys to deflect from what could be tax charges from David Weiss that could be coming down the road?
Well, neither. It's a tactic being used to try to play hardball back. They thought they had a deal. The deal exploded. Now he's been indicted and faces prison time. And his good lawyers, and they are excellent lawyers, are telling the government, this is not a walk in the park. We will fight you. Not only will they raise this issue, but they will raise the Second Amendment. Isn't that ironic?
Yes.
Democrats and liberals raising the Second Amendment defense. They will also raise a double jeopardy claim, and this will be litigated. My prediction is that there'll be what's called a stipulated plea. That is, he will not dispute the facts that are alleged, that he lied about his drug addiction, but he will dispute the law and thereby allow himself to appeal. Yes. So I don't think we're going to have a full-blown trial, but I think we'll have a full-blown appeal, which probably won't be decided until after the election.
And specifically to this filing against the IRS, Professor Dershowitz, is there some exposure to him, though? Because now he's going after them. This opens him up to discovery and some things that he may not want, just like the defamation case he's bringing against the laptop store owner as well.
You have to know that when you bring lawsuits, you open yourselves up to discovery. I've brought lawsuits. I have nothing to hide, so I didn't fear discovery. But unless you have a completely clean background, bringing a civil lawsuit can be very dangerous. And I've seen cases where people bringing civil lawsuits have ended up in criminal trouble because they've had to respond to very difficult questions during the deposition, or they lie during the deposition. So it's a risky maneuver. I don't think anybody thinks that any of these cases will eventually come to trial. I think this is all posture, negotiation, hardball, and good lawyering on the part of Hunter Biden's excellent defense team.
When we talk about whistleblowers and that chilling effect, obviously the whistleblowers were very critical in this case to come forward to speak. It led to Judge Noriega talking and asking more questions about the plea deal. We know his attorneys have pressured maybe to have some retaliation against those whistleblowers. And Congress, in fact, and committee GOP leaders are saying we don't want to have IRS whistleblowers who have rights and have protections to be harmed in any way. But we do know that that is also another tactic here. Doesn't that play into what we're seeing with these lawsuits here, that maybe they're putting out a very not so subtle warning? Whistleblowers, you could be facing lawsuits as well.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous because whistleblowers perform a very important function and they should be protected. On the other hand, just because you're a whistleblower doesn't mean you're telling the truth. So you do have to be subjected to vigorous cross-examination. But a whistleblower who tells the truth should be protected from retaliation. And that's the law today. And that's also the best policy.
Well, interesting tactic that his lawyers are using, and we know possibly we'll see how Merrick Garland is questioned about all of this when he's in front of Congress this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Professor Dershowitz, great to see you.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you so much.